Hey everyone, welcome back with Being on Mac, where today we're starting a new playthrough on Wrestling Wednesday, and we're doing the Legends of Wrestling, the first one off of the GameCube. Not the most popular game, in fact probably one of the least popular wrestling games of all time. And you know what, as much as I love it, it's one of those games where I 100% understand why people don't really like it, but I don't know, any games that I like, everybody seems to hate. I love Resident Evil 6, one of my favorites. I love Resident Evil Outbreak, and there's a niche community that loves Outbreak, but obviously, you know, I think the mass Resident Evil audience, obviously, you know, both those games, people just don't really like at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Venice Beach, California, standing at 6 feet 8 inches, and tipping the scales at an amazing 300 pounds, the man with the largest arms in the world, Hulk Hogan. And coming down the aisle from Chicago, Illinois, at a height of 6 feet 3 inches, and tipping the scales at an amazing 275 pounds, Road Warrior, Hulk.
I'm gonna try and not talk during announcer introductions and stuff like that, but like I was saying, I mean, a lot of games I love, most people hate. I love licensed games, like, you know, stuff like that, like Teen Titans, the SpongeBob games, all that sort of deal. Obviously Warzone and Attitude, which is very hated in the wrestling game community. I mean, you go on the N64 Reddit, man, I mean, you can't even just say, like, hey, which one do you like better, Warzone or Attitude, without, you know, like, half the people going, oh, well, I like hockey better. Like, alright, yeah, good for you, that's not what I asked. But, I don't know, that's just Reddit. In the end of the day, it's just about sharing your opinion, so you can't really get too upset. I just think it's funny, though. But, anyway, so obviously, like, there's just even WCW versus no, not WCW, the WCW Thunder and the WCW Nitro, like, terrible games, but there's like small pieces of it that I can enjoy, and I don't know if that's like I can just see the positive things and things, or get some enjoyment out of like specific things or whatever. But you know, Mortal Kombat, the 3D era of Mortal Kombat's my favorite by far, so obviously, you know, I'm always in the minority when it comes to these things, so who really cares when it comes to that stuff, I guess. You know, I'm just gonna play what I want to play. Hopefully you guys join me along for the ride and stuff like that. But yeah, I figured I was thinking of playing as Rob Van Dam and doing a playthrough with him, and then I started playing as him, and yeah, I'm kind of more of a ready moves kind of guy, and I think RVD just has like one kick combo as like his ready moves type thing, so I don't know, like I kind of like the variety of moves that Hulk Hogan has. So I ended up going on with him. And, you know, just to address it, like, obviously, I'm playing as Hulk Hogan, the character on screen, this or that, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of him as, you know, the human being or whatever. If you do like him or this or that, I don't really care. But obviously, you know, like, just don't take this video super serious or anything like that. Like, I'm promoting a terrible guy or whatever. It's not that serious, man. I'm just playing a game. So any sort of like issues, at least to like politics or anything like that, you know, I know he's the master of politics, Hulk Hogan, in the wrestling industry, but like real life politics, we're trying to escape that stuff. So if you have any issues with that, I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna deal with it in the comments or anything like that. But as you can see, even just looking at the gameplay, you can tell it's rough. It's actually a lot more rough than I remember. Legends of Wrestling 2 is the one that I really love, if I'm being honest, but I want to play the first one first. I've never actually beaten either game. I've gotten pretty close in Legends of Wrestling 2, but they reverse like an insane amount after once you get to like the other territories, like later on in difficulty, and there's no way to change the difficulty or anything like that. So let's see if that can actually get the pin. Not even close. But yeah, I mean, like they just start reversing like it's crazy. You can't adjust the difficulty, and like right now it's no big deal. But we'll see if like I'm assuming since it's probably just an issue that they didn't bother to fix from this game is why the reversals happen so often later on in the career mode. But we'll see. I mean, I've started this playthrough and I intend on powering through it here. Yeah, but it's crazy too. Like it's so funny to see just like the regular walks and some of the moves. Like it's such slow pace. But then like once characters start to run and stuff like that, like they zoom across the arena. I mean, you see how fast Hawk was running right there. And it's not like an attribute thing or anything like that, I don't think either. But there is a lot, like I said, I can see the positive things in this game. I mean, the gameplay is basic, so it's easy to learn and stuff like that. The biggest issue I've always had is figuring out how to do the pins. It's like I don't know, it's like a weird button on the controller. I can't even remember what it is off the top of my head. But once you figure it out, you know, that's kind of the biggest issue there. But you can also win any match by TKO by getting their health down for like a while and continuing to beat on them. And, you know, I love this whole match excitement thing. And I love the idea most about this game is that you know, it's classic, you know, 70s, 80s, you know, going through the territory systems and stuff like that. And I had to go with Northeast first because obviously, you know, that's, you know, New York territory where Hulk Hogan, you know, made himself famous as, you know, the mega star that we know today. And, you know, I love that a lot of moves can turn into, like, pin combos. I think that's pretty awesome. But I wish, you know, I think everybody says, you know, it would be really cool if we could have, like, a modern version of this game, obviously, you know, with some better controls and upgrades and stuff like that, but just the ability to go through the territory systems. And, you know, Legends Wrestling 2, they gave you storylines and stuff like that to play through, and, you know, it was like a random roulette thing, so, like, I think there was like 12 storylines in each thing, and depending on who you picked would also change the storyline. Like, I forget what territory it was exactly, but if you play as Jerry Lawler, and I believe it would be like whatever territory Tennessee is, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm assuming maybe the Southeast, or would be like Midwest. I can't remember. I have terrible geography skills, so. But like if you play as Jerry Lawler, you'll do the Andy Kaufman storyline. That's how you unlock Andy Kaufman of all people in that game, which is just really awesome to think. Like the roster was always super awesome at this time because you didn't get this variety in WWE games.
Denton, Texas, at a height of 6 feet 2 inches and weighing in at 245 pounds, the Golden Warrior and part of the Von Erich dynasty, Kevin Von Erich. And his opponent from Osaka, Japan, towering in at 6 feet and tipping the scales at an amazing 290 pounds, the always devious Mr. Fuji.
But, I mean, this match right here, as you can tell, I mean, this is a very good example of the variety that you would not see in the WWE game. Mr. Fuji is not going to be in the WWE game as, like, a playable character again, likely. You know, the Von Erichs are not likely to be in the WWE game. You know, I don't think they ever have been. Except maybe the Texas Tornado, but I don't know for sure. But obviously, you know, it's not the proper Von Erich. But, you know, like I said, the territory system is just really cool. But I think even at this time, you know, most wrestling fans probably, I feel like a lot of them didn't remember, like the people who would play this game probably didn't remember the territory system or anything like that, or were a part of it, or any of the kids and stuff like that. So I think that would kind of be lost on a lot of people, especially today, since it's been like 40 years, you know. Now instead of territories, we got indies and stuff like that. So I just think it would be kind of lost on a lot of people, but it would still just be a really awesome thing to have, like even if an indie developer like made one. But it's tough too because you know, the licenses they had, like obviously like a lot of big names that also help bring this game together and help make it work and stuff like that would be absent, you know, because you do have guys like Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan, Jerry Lawler, RVD, who, I don't know, he seems like a weird character for me, like a weird choice personally to include in this game as much as I like having him in here. But you know, and then later games, I think they would kind of step away. Like, I think of the last one, I've never even played it, was Showdown Legends of Wrestling, whereas it's actually more based off, like, they got guys like Sting and Ultimate Warrior. Like, they had a really, really solid roster for not having any WWE talent at the time. And obviously, WWE has so many Legend contracts, that's just not really a thing that they could get away with anymore, you know? Obviously, they probably don't have the right, they wouldn't be able to get the rights to the Ultimate Warrior or you know, Hulk Hogan, maybe Hulk Hogan. I don't know if he's under a Legends contract right now or not, but I think he's making sporadic appearances in the WWE. Bret Hart probably wouldn't have one either, but they would still be able to get guys probably like Owen Hart and maybe the British Bulldog, Sting definitely. You know, a few of those kind of guys. And, you know, hey, I mean, maybe they could get some guys like the Hardy Boys or something like that. Yeah, look at how fast he's moving too, man. That's what I'm saying. I can't do it. I think also, like, this game, it's funny to me, like, how violent this game sounds and stuff like that. Like, obviously you've seen, like, Hawk, how fucked up he looked on, like, the match win screen. And that's how everybody looks like. It reminds me of, like, those game over screens on Street Fighter and stuff like that, where you just see, like, your fighter, like, getting his ass kicked and breathing heavy and stuff like that. Pretty freaky, you know, it definitely scared me as a kid. And I think they were also gonna, come on, yeah, its collision protection is not very good either. That's always been probably the biggest issue with Acclaim games. But and then, like, just even, like, you can just pick somebody up and or put them on your shoulders and you hear them go, or, you know, screaming in sheer agony because I, like, grabbed him by the back of the head or something like that. Which is funny. But I think the original intent, especially since, like, everything's kind of like a hardcore match and the movesets are pretty crazy for, like, guys who wrestle around this time and stuff like that for the most part. Like, there's stunners getting dished out, pedigrees, power bombs as normal moves and stuff. I think this was originally supposed to be an ECW game because Acclaim still had the license to ECW, and then once ECW closed, you know, kind of like with WCW Mayhem 2 that was going to be made by Aki on the PS2, I think that, you know, they just decided to turn, all right, well, we got all this work already put in for an ECW game, so we're just going to replace the roster and stuff. Which, you know, like I said, I mean, I don't know how far in development they got with it or whatever, but I'm assuming that's why, like, there's so much, like, hardcore elements going on and everybody's screaming in agony. The really messed up bloody portraits at the end, stuff like that, but that's just a theory. But I also love the multi-man matches in this game. Unfortunately, there's not a big variety of match types in this game. I think there's just singles, tag team, three-way dance, and then I think they call it a four-way dance in this game. There we go. God damn it. I can't tell if, like, I know that blue part, like, that's where, like, your health can regenerate up to, but I can't tell if that actually counts as, like, your official health bar, right? Like, you know, if, like, the red that's removed and stuff like that, if that, like, still, if that's his actual health, or if, like, it's at the blue or whatever, I don't know. But overall, pretty simple game when you look at it, especially even for its time, because you look at, I think this was 2001, so you look at, like, SmackDown Just Bring It, man. I mean, that disappointed a lot of people because of how simple it was in a lot of ways.
His opponent from Paradise Valley, Arizona, towering in at 6 feet 4 inches and weighing in at 275 pounds, two-time world heavyweight champion, superstar Billy Graham.
so I believe this is pretty much like my No One Contenders match since I, got my popularity 100% full. I love the whole match excitement thing. It's very exciting when you first play this game, but honestly, once you kind of get going and stuff like that, and once you get to a certain point, it kind of just starts to drag on a little bit. But like I said, I'm seeing this through to the end. But I don't know. I think this game would just kind of function a lot better if, because as you go on, like match excitement fills up the bar less and less over time. So you're essentially doing more matches per territory. And I don't know. I think that this game would function a lot better if it was just kind of like, they picked maybe a medium range, so where like, the average was doing like maybe 3 to 4 matches or something like that per promotion. Then you'd have, like a good 20 to 30 matches a career still. So, and with all the characters that you had to play as, and it's something I really didn't like what they started around this time was having to complete career modes with specific characters to unlock other characters. I guess ref buff doesn't count if I throw them into them, I guess. But I don't know. I always hate that in like games. Like with fighting games, it's okay because it's obviously a lot faster. Like doing like a 10-man fight arcade or something like that is way quicker. Than if you fight through like 40 to 50 guys in like a wrestling game career mode where matches take 5 to 10 minutes and stuff like that, in comparison to like a 3-minute at most one-on-one fight or something like that. Okay, I don't know why he didn't go into the ring, but we got a reversal bonus here. But I think they even started doing that in the ECW games. And yeah, that just kind of really grinded my gears, as they say. Okay, I don't know. I thought that's how you threw people into the ring, but I guess into the apron instead. By the way, why didn't you get thrown into the apron the first time? I don't know. It's best not to ask questions in this game. I also think that this game kind of got a little too complicated where with the positioning you need to be for finishers to be implemented in. Like obviously a Hulk Hogan leg drop, that's no big deal whatsoever. I mean, you just, when they're on the ground, get a running head start, and then use a finisher. But I think with like guys like Bret Hart, for example, to use the sharpshooter, it can't just be like, okay, press this button while you're at their legs. You have to like grab their legs and then do it. I think for Jerry Lawler with the pile driver, you have to get him in the specific grapple state. It's just not the one, not just a generic grapple in general. Like this power bomb stands first. So I don't know. I think just this game, I've heard also a lot of scummy things about Acclaim as far as like the deals they made with these wrestlers. They knew that some of them were in unfortunate circumstances at the time of their lives, in low points, so they would take, lowball offers to use their likenesses and stuff. Like Jake the Snake Roberts was one of them. I guess they got his rights for like extremely cheap because he was just at a low point in his life. So there's definitely some scumbaggery in the works here at this time.
That's it, it's over!
But I think even, around this time, like Acclaim just kind of started really saying screw it, and unfortunately lost the passion. Oh, well, I guess that was the title match. Well, now we just gotta defend it.
His opponent, hailing from the Fiji Islands, towering in at 6 feet and tipping the scales at an amazing 260 pounds, former World Heavyweight Champion and Wrestling Hall of Famer, Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Boy, you talk about some controversial figures in the wrestling business. Ooh-wee. Well, like I said, we're playing as the characters, not the human beings. But I think I just have to take on Superfly Snuka. I've cut out like a lot of like fluff in this playthrough. I don't know. I'll try to have to keep Jimmy Hart, not Jimmy the Heart. Jimmy, the mouth of the South. I'll try and keep like his little pep talks in, but a lot of times he just says like the same thing over and over again. So I don't know. We'll see. But also, I mean, that's kind of the perfect pairing too, because you know, Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart were obviously, you know, pretty big partners for the longest time. You know, Jimmy Hart was pretty much his manager for a long time. And I think Jimmy Hart was kind of one of those guys where wherever Hulk went, Jimmy went. Kind of like Brutus the Barber Beefcake or the Nasty Boys and stuff like that. When you really think about it, I think a lot of people, you can kind of compare Hulk Hogan to like the Adam Sandler of like wrestling, because like anytime, you know, he was in a big deal going to a big, you know, company or something like that, he always made sure his friends got jobs. But I do love that there's no count out in this game, because then you can have some hardcore bouts outside the ring whenever you want. Although I did think it was funny. I seen an interview with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and he was talking about his WCW run and stuff like that, and he said that Hulk Hogan needed him more than he needed Hulk Hogan. And I don't know, I just thought that was funny. Because I mean, I like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, but let's be honest, the Booty Man, the Zodiac, I can't even remember what his. I don't even think it was just Ed Leslie when he came in initially and had their Starcade match, but yeah, obviously that was just that was pretty crazy that he said that. Because Brutus the Barber Beefcake was always a memorable character for a lot of people, but not anything else he really did. But apparently Hulk Hogan hit on Brutus Beefcake's wife at one point, so they are no longer friends. But what are you gonna do? I mean, I think Hulk's burnt a lot of bridges over his career and stuff like that, you know, with a lot of guys. But I mean, it's just how he is, you know. A lot of the top wrestlers have played politics and done terrible things to get ahead in their career. Well, this video is about over, so thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's episode on Wrestling Wednesday, but above all else, please remember to have a nice day.